Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I would do that when I start this thing up. So I know it's been a good 3 weeks. First of all, I want to welcome you to the channel. I'm your host Michelle, and today I want to talk about my final week in Japan and basically give you an overall overview of everything that transpired. Well, most of the second half, because I've already talked about the first half of it, the first week and a half. So I'm going to talk about the second week and a half. So it has been 3 weeks since I got back. It seems much longer than that, really, but it's been a good 3 weeks. Just noticed some of my stuff's been blown around here. That's not cool now, is it? So, where do we start? So let's start with the obvious. Well, last time I left off, I said I was planning on going to Kyoto. I did not go to Kyoto. Actually, Kyoto is about 3-4 hours away. Bullet train. We're talking very fast. Not that I was scared or anything like that, but the planning for that would require me to stay overnight. And being that I didn't plan that far and it's a little more costly than it's not that expensive, I would say, but it's just I wanted to do more in Tokyo rather than spend 3 or 4 hours in Kyoto and come back and have not, done much of anything. So that's pretty much my thought process on that. So I decided, and this is what I did. So I finally planned properly the weekend before the last week, and so this is what I decided. I wanted to go to Asakusa. Of course, this is Saturday, so I want to go to Tokyo. Now, I'm gonna get to something else, but first, this is how I did it. Now, if you're not, you're new to Tokyo or wherever you are. Okay, so this is what I did. Partly, I used this book here, dropping stuff. Pocket Tokyo, Top Size Local Life, and Made Easy, Lonely Planet. Partly that. Fodor Travel, Essential Japan. This helped out tremendously, actually. Those are 2 very good guides. I basically took them both with me. I just had the pocket one in my pocket half the time, and I refer to it as much as necessary. So, having learned my lesson from the first weekend, how do I see chat? I guess I'll see it when it comes up. Yeah, okay, so I guess I'm watching myself. Okay, so anyways, having learned my lesson, this is a bright light, by the way. How bright is that thing? Turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. A little bit better. So this is what I did. I have these 2 pieces of paper here, and I pretty much wrote down exactly what I want to do. And I knew I would only have so much time. Based on the fact, and not just time, but also time to enjoy, time to just take it all in. Plus, I'm taking photos, so I know it's gonna take me a little longer than most people. I'm not just trying to run through this stuff. I'm not trying to just go through. But so, based on the fact, I'm not one to plan it down to the letter. So this is what I did. I wrote down from morning, afternoon to evening what I was gonna do on Saturday. Sunday, I'm gonna get to this in a second. Sunday, I had something totally different planned out. I actually did a photo shoot. I will get to that in a second. So, for Saturday, between the two guides, TripAdvisor and a few other sites online, I've put them in the description below. I went to go to Asakusa. Now there they have the Senjoji Temple has one of the biggest lanterns on the gate. I think it's probably the biggest, but I have to verify that. But anyways, it has one of the biggest, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because I said I was gonna be more visual with this, and so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch over here. I gotta find it first. Oh yeah, let me just go through the before I get ahead of myself. I want to go through the summary of what I did. So Asakusa, I went to visit Senjoji Temple. Then there was something else I wrote down. I wanted to go to Meiji Jingu Shrine. I wanted to not necessarily go to Skytree, but I wanted to get some good photos of Skytree. And Tokyo Tower. Again, I didn't want to really go there, although it would have been cool. But I want to get photos of Tokyo Tower. And I ended that. I can't talk today. I ended the evening with Shinjuku. After sunset, I wrote down a few things here, but it didn't really matter. So it's good to have a guide, something, at least a plan of attack. And if you don't hit everything, which I didn't get to go to everything that I wrote down, but it's fine. I'm content with that. At least I had a plan. At least I wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Not a good idea. So, I'm gonna go through Saturday. I already told you Sunday. I did go to Kasai Rinkai Park, and that was where I did my photo shoot with a model. I'm gonna get to that after I explain and kind of go through the places I've been, some photos. I'll show you some visuals. I'm gonna show you some visuals for the first time. Holy cow. I'm getting better at this thing, but I still have a long ways to go. I'm not gonna lie. I'm drinking a beer because I am trying to relax here. Take the edge off. Saturday. Now, being that I just went through what I did, I wrote everything down from start to finish, morning. Actually, I left a bit later than I was supposed to for Saturday. Key here. Having known that I was supposed to be at Asakusa earlier, I did get there as early as I could. I think I got there around 9 something. 9 something in the morning. Obviously, in the morning. And That's where the day started. What did I do? Okay, so let me find it here because I don't want to just surprise you guys. But let's see here. There it is. Okay. There we are. Okay. I got it up. That sounds like a personal problem. Nope. No pun intended. I believe you. No pun intended on that. Let's see here. I hope I'm not too loud. Hope I'm not too freaking loud. Okay, so let's switch this. Okay, Lightroom is up. I have all my photos in here that I have finally gotten through. And I've only published very few of these on Instagram and Twitter. So, and 500 pixels. So, oops, 1 second. I actually have to highlight it and bring it up. Okay, so this is where I started at. As soon as I got off the train, this is what I saw. And I was like, this is cool. This is in Asakusa. Something about it screams Japan. And so that's where I went. That's where I started off taking this photo. I also have it. This is not the finished product, by the way. This is just this light is too goddamn bright. Hold the shit up. Okay. It's too goddamn bright. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway. So this is actually close to where I'm going, but I have to walk, obviously, and this is what I saw, and I was like, this is cool. This is Japan. I'm in Japan. I mean, if it doesn't scream Japan, I don't know. I mean, I do know other things that do scream Japan as well, but I figure this is Japan, bro. I'm in Japan. I'm in it. I'm there. And I'm gonna continue. So I'm just gonna kind of go fast. There's nothing that's explicit, so I'm not really. So if this is the Senjoji Temple. This is the gate. It's also known as the Thunder Gate. And as you can tell, it's pretty big. I thought this was really cool because of one. Because it is the Kamin. So in Japanese, it's a Kaminaramon Gate, also known as the Thunder Gate. And that thing is massive, by the way. You go up there, and it is massive. That lantern is massive. That gate is the Thunder Gate for sure. And it's been there for many, many years. I'm just kind of going too fast. Just kind of go through the photos. But this is Japan. I was there walking through. There's a lot of people. Cherry blossoms. I mean, it's amazing. It was amazing. And I honestly, I can't wait to go back. Me with my camera, just walking through. I ain't getting all this stuff. I mean, this is... The pictures only tell so much. I mean, you can only tell so much of my story with photos. And this is why I'm kind of like here. I'm explaining it like from my perspective, how I experienced it. I mean, just the history and the culture. I mean, there is a lot, and especially this area. So one of the reasons why I wanted to go to this area was because a lot of this area is still like it's like originally it was there, like back when it was first built. I mean, a lot of stuff, it may have, been disasters, whatever. They may have rebuilt it, renovated, whatever. But for the most part, this stuff is in the same place where it has been for many moons, many years. I mean, that's impressive. Just the sheer, like, oh my gosh, it's massively impressive. All the shops and everything, this temple. I walked around this area. You get to see like little things like this on the side streets. There's Skytree back there. This area is actually called the Two Buddhas. And there's another temple nearby, a smaller one, but just as significant as anything else in this area. This is the whole thing right there. The Senjoji Temple, the pagoda, 5 towers, a 5-level pagoda. I've seen some very, very impressive photos of this area now. Granted, there's so many people in this area that it was hard to get a shot that didn't have anybody in it. But I didn't want to be like everybody else. And as you can tell, you can see this. You can see a little bit of the new, the modern in the background, and of course the old. The thing's been there for so long. So many years. It's crazy. I mean, who really needs to go to a museum when you have a shrine, a temple, place to go to? And there's so many people. There's just so many people here. It's spring. You got family, friends out, having a good time. You got people praying. Just amazing. I got some shots of a bird here doing this thing. I have more shots, but these are the best 2 I have. These are the best photos that I've gotten out of the whole thing. And they're not edited, so they're just as is. 2 Buddhas again. This is behind them, but this is the 2 Buddhas. Back to the Senjoji shrine here, or temple. Not shrine, but temple. The Thunder Gate, yet another gate to get into this place. I believe there's a total of 2 gates. I think it's 2. The 5-level pagoda there. Just beautiful, lively. It seems like, and it actually the weather wasn't bad. It was relatively cool, but because the sun was out, it wasn't that hot. It wasn't that cool, but it was still warm enough where I really didn't have to wear my jacket if I didn't want to, So I thought the weekends are actually the nicest when I was there. Ironically, it was cold and rainy for much of the rest of the time I was there, which is fine because I was working anyways. So they had some women in kimonos and or yukatas. Very impressive design, beautiful. Beautiful women, very friendly. They didn't mind me taking a few shots. That's got to be a MILF right there. For sure. She's good looking there. I'm just saying. Just point that out there. Back to the 2. No, that's not the 2 Buddhas. That's just the 1. So this is right outside the temple. Yet another lantern. That thing is just ginormous. Freaking huge. I'm kind of going through here a little fast. I don't want to bore you on my photos and everything. Even though this is like the best. I have a lot more photos. So this area alone, I took 230 photos. I pulled out 74 of them of my best. And obviously, I'm not going to publish them all. So, if you're on here, you get to see all of these. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to post all of these. But I will post my most favorite faves of these in my blog. And eventually, my IG, Twitter, 500 pixels, kind of like just kind of go down the line. Anyway, another young woman. She actually had a lot of people taking photos of her. So like behind me or around me. I was trying to get a better shot, but that was the only one I can get. I was trying to, well, I think I had like one other shot, but it was a little bit overexposed, and I was like, you know how that goes. I'm trying to shoot manually. Anyways, again, before I go into the temple here, this is a look on from the inside out. So this really, like, if you look at this is like, for me, this is like a glimpse, like back in time, like back in the past. This is how it would have looked. Like minus the modern stuff in the back on the left. Like it's pretty much like that. All of this has been here. I don't know about the colors, but for the most part, you have like the shrine, all the people, everything, the courtyard, everything. I'm pretty sure like there's not much of a difference of what it could have looked back in the day. If I mean you look, and like I'm kind of like in library mode, so I can't like really. I can try to add an effect. Let me hold on. Let me see here. Let's do this. There it is. Give you the vintage look. Alright, doesn't that look like something that's back in the day? Like for reals. It blows me away. Again, beautiful women. Very friendly. I believe this is like a mom and a daughter, but I could be very wrong and mistaken. I can't really. It's kind of hard to tell. Women in Japan, they're Japanese women, and like, it's kind of hard to tell, like, how old she is. I honestly, if I'm guessing and I'm looking at this photo, I'm guessing she, the one on the left is probably in her late 30s, early 40s. I can't really tell the one on the right, to be honest. I'm not gonna even guess. That's why I was like, oh, that's probably like a mom and daughter. They're probably friends. I don't know, but maybe cousins. You go back. That's beautiful. I'm gonna make that happen. And there's a lot of photos. Skytree in the back there. Just walking down different alleys and aisles and stuff like that. I was just walking around. I was having a good time. And just, like I said, taking it all in. Just taking it in. Broke out my 85 millimeter. Just taking some different photos. And again, like I said, just the atmosphere, everything. I'm here. I mean, I was there in Japan. I wanted to really get something out of it other than be a tourist. I mean, I could, I of course, you do get so far playing tourist, but also trying to get out there and just take it in. For me, with my camera and or just being in the area, Major plus. So oh yeah, between this picture and this photo, I pretty much ate lunch. So I went out. Of course, I'm by myself the whole time. So I'm out. I get hungry. I'm like, I'm looking for Skytree, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should eat first. Find this place. I found one place. I referred to the guide. The place was closed. There was a sign on the door. I couldn't read it. I just took a photo of it. I don't have it on here, but I have it on my phone photo. Anyway, it was in the guide, so I'm assuming the place has been there for a while. Popular place. There was some other people that were trying to they were there looking at the sign or whatever, or at the note, and obviously something was going on, and they weren't there. Nobody was there. So, I was like, you know what? It's all cool. I decided to go to somewhere else. Walk down this place. You can't really see it in this photo, but to the left, there is like a mall of shops, restaurants, and that's where I went. I went to this place. I had grilled fish. Now, mind you, grilled fish. Damn, I got photos of this thing, but I will look at my phone right now. Excuse me, I really apologize. For some reason, I just started yawning. Like, come on now. Anyway, the meal was really good. Had some hot sake. Really good. Really good. I mean, I will say this. Overall, in Japan, I ate extremely well. I would even go so far as to say I gained weight. Even though I was trying to lose weight, I gained weight. I ate so well. It was crazy. I got spoiled. I was spoiled. For reals. And there's you go to Japan or anywhere outside the country and the food is just, I would just say in Japan, but the food is just so much better. It tastes so much better. And it's so much more healthier for you. Even McDonald's in Japan is better than the McDonald's in the US. And I'm just saying, I had to try it. I had to try it at least one time. I will tell you, when I get to Sunday, because I didn't just go to the Kasai Rinkai Park. And what is the significance of Kasai Rinkai Park? I will get to that too as well. So let's continue here. Anyway, I had a bomb ass fucking lunch. Oh yeah, most challenging part, by the way, if you're not familiar with eating fish with chopsticks, I would highly suggest you try it and challenge yourself. Yeah, I could have been do you have a fork or anything? No. I straight up ate this fish with chopsticks with bones in it. Mind you, this fish was so tender. It would just break apart like nothing. It was just oh my goodness. It was so good. So good. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find it on my phone real quick. I know I can find it. I'm going to find it. Cause you know what, I can talk about this all day, every day, but to be honest, there's nothing like a good photo every now and then. Kind of like proof, like, oh, I've actually been here, kind of thing. Let's see. There we go. Did I get? Yeah. There we go. I got a good photo. So I'm gonna switch back here in regular cam mode here. That's what that is. That's what I had. It kind of sucks to have a reflection and everything, but it was so good. And like I said, the most challenging part was eating it with chopsticks, because I'm looking this up on like freaking YouTube while I'm eating. Like, well, how do you do this? I know how to eat with chopsticks normally, but eating fish with bones that's probably the biggest challenge I've ever had besides rice. And to be honest, hold on, let me turn this volume down. I think I'm like a little too loud here. Let me turn that down. There we go. I am blasting people's ears out. Let's turn that down. There we go. So yeah, challenge yourself and enjoy eating. I mean, it was so good. I mean, I didn't swallow no bones. I was very careful. So it took me like maybe an hour and a half. Probably not that long, but it took me long enough where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to choke. I'm just going to enjoy it, eat it. So back to the photos here. This was, I don't recall which temple this was. I have to look this up, but this is a different temple. On my way to taking a good photo of Skytree. As you can tell, a lot of people again in this area. Getting closer to Skytree. Again, I didn't go there. I didn't actually get on Skytree or anything like that. I wanted to get an optimal photo of Skytree. Now, if you don't know anything about Skytree, because I'm getting to it really, is that it is the tallest freestanding tower in the world. Not the tallest structure, because the the Dirge in Dubai has that, but this is the tallest freestanding tower in the world. Yeah, so pretty good, huh? Walking by, I liked what I saw again. So again, I'm taking photos of, I want the optimal photos. I have a few really good ones here. Caught the birds in mid-flight. Again, another cute. Look at that. I mean, that is impressive. And I know it takes a lot of work. I'm loud, aren't I? Hold up. Thought I turned this down. So minus 10 decibel. Okay, so anyways, good looking. So this is actually one of my favorite photos of Skytree that I took, simply because of the cherry blossoms they're in the middle, the top, and on the bottom. So it kind of frames it a little bit. This is not the final product. I have actually the final product's on my Instagram. If you want to take a look at it, it's on both my Instagram Twitter, and 500 pics. Unfortunately, on Instagram it is 4x5 cropped, so it pretty much cuts the whole bottom off, which is unfortunate. Really, just hate the crop on there, but it's definitely not good for exhibitions. That platform. I'm just telling you how it is. So after my journey to see Skytree and getting the best photo I could possibly get, I journeyed to see Tokyo Tower. The thing about Tokyo Tower is, it was no way. I was like, I was looking for it on a map. I was like, I should be able to see it. Come to find out, it was still a good 30 to 45 minute train ride away. So I was like, okay, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna see it from here. Cause I should have saw it right across from the river. It was like, nope, didn't see it. It's quite the distance away. So in my journey to see Tokyo Tower, which is the next, let's probably close this up. Let's close that up real quick there. There we go. Alright, so in my journey here to see Tokyo Tower, there it is. Not the best shot, mind you. The sun is going down. By this time, it's probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours before sunset. So I got some really good shots as I made my way around. I probably could have got a lot closer too, but I did not. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, like I said, these photos are not done. Not at least on Lightroom. I did these photos. I actually processed the ones that I've finished. I processed them in Capture One. Some more good photos of Tokyo Tower. Tokyo Tower was actually crafted after the Eiffel Tower, and I believe it's actually taller than the Eiffel Tower. So actually, if you don't know anything about Tokyo Tower, it is one of the most significant icons of Japan, at least Tokyo. I also wrote about this in one of my posts about it, but in X, the movie, the final battle is actually fought at Tokyo Tower. It's pretty much like the last, if I can describe it, the last place that pretty much holds, it's like the last line of defense for Earth. Anyways, give it a watch if you haven't seen it. X. That's actually the last photo. So after Tokyo Tower, I went to Yoyogi. Check it. Oh, excuse me. That's actually the beginning. Where the hell did I put those photos at? Yeah. Okay, maybe I didn't. It's possible I didn't upload them yet. That's odd. Okay, yeah, I don't think I uploaded those yet. All right, so here's the thing. I mentioned before, this photo was actually taken the weekend prior to. I could probably show you some of those photos too, but I might do that I'm already 40 minutes in here, so after scouting around Tokyo Tower, I went through Yoyogi Park because I don't know, for some reason I was going through there. Anyways, I was walking Yoyogi Park. There's it was getting dark, so I didn't really see much. But the significance surrounding Yoyogi Park was the fact that I mentioned before about seeking out photo shoots. I kind of like waited to the last second. I was like, well, I'm in Japan. Why don't I find a model to do a photo shoot? And by the time Saturday got here, I could find nobody responded until I think probably Saturday night or Friday night. But it was for Sunday. I'm gonna get to that in a second. So Yogi Park. Around the time I was taking photos of Tokyo Tower, and before I got to Yoyogi Park, there was a group shoot going on. I shit you not. One of my favorite streamers on YouTube was in Japan. She's hosting a huge, I'm not sure how huge, but I would say about 15 to 20 people, big meetup photo shoot. And guess to top it off, she was shooting with like various models I had seen and I was looking for. And come to find out, nobody responded because they were actually already engaged in this photo shoot, group shoot. And they had actually eventually responded to me after the fact, and it was like, no, it's too late. Maybe next year. So, one of my favorite streamer, YouTubers, photographers. It's so freaking like it's so bizarre. I didn't even know she was gonna be in Japan the same time I was. I remember she had mentioned it, but I was like, oh, there's no way. What the heck? So about the time I was at Tokyo Tower, they were doing this shoot. So by the time you got to Yoyogi Park, they were already gone because it was like sunset. By the time I got to this Yoyogi Park, sunset was already like happening. It's so crazy, like so crazy. Um, I'm trying to look for. I know her last name is like starts with a K. It's Kolesi. Damn it. Damn it. Hold on. But yeah, she's really popular. I follow her. I've been following her for a little bit actually right now, so it's just like it's so crazy. And you know what? She wasn't the only person in Japan at the time. There was a few other people I knew, or I had known and didn't meet in person yet. And I was like, "Holy shit, you're here in Japan!" It's crazy, right? phone up. Uh, hold on, guys. I hate when I forget people's names, man. It freaking irks me, dude. It freaking irks me. I have her in a snap, but she hasn't. Oh no, it's Jessica Kobayashi. Yeah, I can say that name like 5 times in a row. Jessica Kobayashi. Anyway, she was there hosting a group shoot in Yoyogi Park before I got there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I missed it. I wasn't like checking my Instagram like on a friggin', but I found out at the last friggin' second, and I was like, oh my goodness, I missed this group shoot. But it's alright. And you know why it's okay? Because I'm like, you know what? I got to do what I wanted to do. I didn't have to stress about it. I didn't have to I got to see Japan. I got to see a little bit of Japan. I got to see a little bit of Tokyo. And I'm saying like, hey man, I'm scratching the surface here, you know, from morning to afternoon to the evening, and I finally got to Shinjuku. I cannot believe I don't have the photos up. What the heck is wrong with me? I don't have the photos from Shinjuku up yet, so I can't show you that. That's unfortunate. But I mean, a lot of photos in Shinjuku are kind of dark, anyways. Like I was taking photos at nighttime. It's nighttime, so that's probably why I haven't put them up yet. The photo you're looking at right here are from the weekend before. This is actually in Yokohama area. Where is this at? This is one of the temples in Yokohama. But I will probably go through these another time because I'm already 47 minutes in here. I want to talk about. I'm gonna finish up Saturday what I did, pretty much Shinjuku. So by the time I got to Shinjuku, it was like pretty much nighttime. It was dark. Walking from Yoyogi Park to the train station, nightfall had ensued. My phone was near dying. I was trying to stay off my phone as much as possible. So the other thing I did besides the guide, besides the plan that I wrote down on paper here, was I wrote down where I needed to be as far as the train stations and how long it would take me to get there. From start to finish and all the way back to Yokosuka where I was staying. I needed to know that because certain places don't have they don't have plugs readily available to plug in to charge your phone up. So I was like, okay, well, if my phone dies, and it did, I'll have this piece of paper, right? And it actually worked out because I knew. I told you, I learned from the first time. I knew that I was going to be out all day. My phone actually did a pretty good job considering I was on GPS most of the time I was on it. And GPS does eat your battery up a lot more than regular. So it did a really good job. And pretty much up until the point I was eating dinner, that's where my phone just went. Actually, I think I remember I just turned it off because I knew my battery was gonna go, and I knew I knew this is ridiculous. Now let me just turn it off. I'll eat my dinner, and yeah, I got a few photos of my dinner. I had the Oyoko. What is it called? I wrote it down somewhere. Anyways, I was at this restaurant, and there's places that will actually make it for you, but this one they had the thing right in front. I said, hey, I want the meat. I think it was beef, chicken in there, the flour. You mix it up, cook it, voila, and it was so good. And now I'm like, now I gotta make this. I have a recipe. I'm gonna make this stuff. I'm so spoiled from eating in Japan. It's not even funny. It's crazy, right? It's utterly like I miss it, and I'm gonna find my way back. Eventually, I'm gonna go back, and yeah, it was good though. Oh man, so at this restaurant, um, there are actual places. Well, so there's like seating in the front, and there's seating in the like kind of the back area, and there was one other couple, a couple women. They were actually already back there before I got there. So the sit down is like a traditional area. You take your shoes off, you sit back there, and yeah, my my legs were dying. Now, mind you, this is for like Japanese people. So like I'm sitting back there, my legs are like I'm like fully like I'm trying very hard to sit like quote unquote Indian style. I know that's like very very bad something now, but back in the day that's what they called it. So you cross your legs, you sit like that, and my legs were dying. Like honestly, like they were falling asleep. And I was like, okay, now I gotta do something. So I just kind of like stretched my legs out a little bit. Like one was kind of like under the table, like kind of like out, because I couldn't cross them anymore. There's no way I could sit there with another person unless I work on my flexibility or something a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, that was my greatest challenge with that, and nearly burning my food. Yeah. Um, I'm just going through photos from Yokohama. I'm not really talking about Yokohama right now. Like I said, I may do that on a different vlog. This is from the weekend before. Again, very nice place. This place is huge. It's been here for many years, many centuries even. A lot of it's been renovated. So back to, I'm just kind of going through this photos, but I'm just like, so we got something to look at other than my face. I mean, I don't mind if you want to see my face, that's cool. But I just want to give you something to look at because I know I normally don't have any kind of visual aids or anything on here, so I want to give you something to at least remember. Because a lot of these photos are not going to be on my blog, so you're going to see it first here. So, Shinjuku was nice. I walked around. I saw the crosswalk. I think I saw the crosswalk. There was just, yeah, that had to be the crosswalk. There were just so many people in this area. It was ridiculous. And it was at nighttime, so I'm like, damn, there's so many restaurants, shops. I went to a couple, walked through a store, just kind of look at it. But at this point, after dinner and everything, all the, the whole day, I was getting tired. And I was just thinking to myself, like, it would really be nice if I had a friend or somebody, to kind of walk with. I'm not saying like anybody, like somebody that was cool, we could go have some beers or something. Now, mind you, this is Shinjuku. What about Shinjuku? So Shinjuku is like the nightlife city. Besides Shibuya, I had done some research beforehand before going down there in Shinjuku, and Shinjuku is more like that's where the government building is. So they have a government building down there. I didn't go to Shibuya though. Shibuya is kind of like the red light district area. I didn't go there, and obviously for various reasons, because they say you should not go to certain places alone at night. Not that I was scared or anything. That's. Let me tell you, I've had my fill of red light districts and nightlife, so that's not something that's foreign to me at all. But again, my phone was like, I think it was pretty much dead. So at this point at the night, I was actually flying strictly like paper, like back in the day where people didn't have phones, and like, okay, I gotta look for the train station. I knew where I was, so a good thing is to kind of pay attention to where you are in your surroundings. Look for different look for different, not trademarks, but landmarks. Look for different landmarks, and if you get lost, you can at least be like, okay, I need to go back to this place, this building. And yeah, certain places you cannot like forget, especially in Shinjuku. Like you go to that crosswalk where there's a lot of people, like, you're not gonna forget that. I mean, that place is huge. So, man, like I said, by this time of night, I was getting tired, and the only thing that would have kept me going was if I had somebody else that was with me. And there's actually certain times throughout this whole trip where I would have liked to have a friend, not just anybody, because I hung out with a couple of my shipmates in the reserves, and that was cool. Like, we eat dinner a couple of nights. I'm saying like a friend, maybe a girlfriend or something. We go hang out, drink some beers, have a good time. I think that would have made the night a lot better, for me at least. And I'm not saying my night wasn't good. It was great. Like I said, throughout the whole trip, it's been amazing. Japan-wise, touring, it has been great. I'm just saying, having a second person doesn't hurt. Having a second person that's a friend doesn't hurt, because you get to experience everything together, and you get to talk about it, to sit and enjoy each other's time. So I think that would help out a lot. But like I said, my phone was dying. I was getting tired, and I decided, hey, it was time to go back home. It was time to go back. So I already knew it was going to be an hour and a half train ride back to where I was staying. So I needed to leave and get back prior to. I didn't want to be out too late. We actually did have a curfew. Yes, one of the things about being in the military, or in my case, the reserves, is that me as a second class gotta be back by midnight. Granted, I had plenty of time when I got back, but it was like one of those things. Again, I was just tired. I wanted to be back. And I already knew that the train ride was going to be packed. And that alone could take a lot of energy out of you if you're not prepared, because there's a lot of people in Japan. A lot. And not to say that I wasn't ready for it. I grew up in a big city. I grew up in Chicago. And granted, Chicago is nowhere the size of Tokyo. Tokyo is one of the biggest, I think it is actually the biggest metropolis city in the world. Somebody asked me, like, it has that many people in it. So it didn't really take me by surprise so much. It was like, there's a certain level that you have to accept Like this is what it is. You either accept it or you don't. I'm gonna talk about more in regards to that later. Let's see, I'm already in an hour, so let me do this really quick here. I'm gonna talk about the next day. So Sunday, the whole week before, I was talking with the shipyard workers I was working with about the Penis Festival. The Penis Festival is also known by other names, such as Kanamara Matsuri. Yes, that is a guy wearing a penis on his head. So, I don't know, like, the rules surrounding. I mean, I don't think it's bad as far as terms and services. This is more of an educational thing. It's not an actual penis. So, yeah. Somebody, I don't know if you're on YouTube, somebody inform me if this is breaking the rules or not, because I have no idea. I'm going to get back to that in a second. So, just, if you guys don't know, some people call this the fertility festival. In actuality, it is the penis festival. That's what it's called. It's the Festival of the Steel Phallus. This happens once a year on the first Sunday of April in a certain city. This is actually, what is this at? Where is this at? Oh, I don't have it on here. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna go through the history here in a second. Let me find a good photo I can kind of pull up here. Okay, I think that's a good photo. Not the best. Yeah, so that's a shrine, and that is a steel penis. And as you can tell, it looks very heavy, extremely heavy. And there's a black one. Well, that was a log, but that's they're going there. That's the black one. Did I not get good photos of the black one? That's weird. I feel like I got some good photos of the black one. For some reason they're not. Oh, there it is. So that's the black one. Okay. I'm gonna just hold on that one. Hold on. I'll give you a story about what a lot of people don't know what the story is, so they're kind of curious as to why is that a thing. And so let's see here. I'm going to read. This is on notesofnomads.com. Look up Kanamara Penis Festival, Japan. You'll find it here. I'm reading verbatim on here. So here goes. So you're probably wondering why the Japanese celebrate the steel phallus. Well, legend has it that sometime back in the Edo period, 1603 to 1867, there was a sharp-toothed demon who fell in love with a beautiful woman. The woman, however, didn't return the demon's affection and decided to marry another man. Angering the demon, he inhabited the woman's vagina before their wedding night, and when they tried to consummate the marriage, the demon bit off the groom's penis with his razor-sharp teeth. when the woman remarried, the jealous demon once again made his feelings clear by biting off her second husband's penis. Deciding that enough was enough, the upset villagers concocted a plan to trick the demon. A local blacksmith forged a steel phallus, and upon its insertion, the demon's teeth were broken, and he left the woman's vagina for good. Sometime thereafter, the legend was commemorated by way of Kanamara Matsuri, an enshrinement of the actual steel phallus at Kanayama Shrine. That's where it's at. Kanayama Shrine, constructed to honor Kanayama Hikonokami and Kanayama Himenokami, the Shinto deities of childbirth and in lower abdominal health, which translates very loosely to fertility. The Kanayama Shrine then became renowned as a site for sex workers to pray for protection against STDs. Nowadays, the shrine is said to aid fertility and is often visited by married couples hoping to start a family. The festival itself has become popular with the gay, lesbian, and transgender communities. They have come up with the additional monkeys at this shrine. So, it goes on and on, but at this actual festival, they have these lollipops, penis lollipops, vagina lollipops. It is wild. Could something like this really exist? It does. It does. And only once a year in one city in Japan. It was massively crowded. Massively. And I'm going to go through this other photos here. So, the black steel penis. You would have thought I would have been very popular there. But, I don't know. I kind of was getting hungry, so I didn't stay too long. And there was a lot of people. And I also had a photo shoot to get to afterwards to meet a model. And that's exactly what I did. So yeah, this is huge. I mean, this is a very huge event. And like I said, after that, I was hungry. I went to McDonald's, and I then proceeded to go to Kasai Rinkai Park for my photo shoot. So it was a very productive day. I actually got to Kanayama late. They say if you want the penis lollipops and stuff, you gotta get there pretty early. I got there late. I was like, ugh. It's all good. Kasai Rinkai Park. So I don't have very many photos to show you of the park itself. I will tell you that the most significant thing about this place is the Ferris wheel. It is one of the largest Ferris wheels in the country. I think there's actually one or two more that equal the size or are about the size of it. And no, I did not go on that thing. Nor did I have the time to. But I walked around the park. I was pretty much scouting about a good hour and a half prior to the model arriving. I'm actually going to do a podcast regarding this photo shoot, so stay tuned for that. The model I worked with was Miyu. Very sweet young woman. Very sweet. And very attractive. Like, oh my gosh. Her skin is flawless. Like, I did literally like very little, like any work at all in Photoshop in regards to her skin. Like everything else is like her skin is like perfect. Like I don't know like what she uses, but like not like just her face, but like her whole body, her legs, like her arms. Like oh my gosh, it is crazy bizarre. This is actually one of my favorite photos, but and also one of the locations we did the photo shoot here. Like I said, just cherry blossoms, flower. Oh, I love this picture right here. It's one of my favorites. So I'm gonna keep it here, and yeah. So the photo shoot lasted about an hour. Again, the model Muse, she was really, really nice. She was very sweet, and I really hope I get to shoot with her again. She's actually with an agency. She does fashion, and I'm not exactly sure if that's her primary job, but I believe no, she actually does something else on the side. So that's not like the only thing she does, but it is like one of her one of the things that she does, and she's very good at it. Let's see. So after the photo shoot, that's pretty much it. I went home. I went back to Yokosuka. I'm just gonna keep it on this photo here. Probably bring my face back up. I guess. Let's see here. See if you want to see my face. If you want to see my face. Oh man. So Japan was everything that I thought and more, to be honest. And I know this is like my overview. Obviously, there's a lot more I could really go over and talk about in regards to Japan. After the weekend, I pretty much had four strong working days with the shipyard, just kind of helping them out. And like I said, that's pretty much the whole reason why I was there. I was doing annual training, helping out the shipyard workers in my area. Just to preparing the ship to get underway, pretty much. So that was our job. There's a lot I learned as far as that go, and I'm not gonna really talk about it too much. I mean, I really only want to really talk about my experience in Japan, and yes, that experience does matter. At least working with shipyard workers, and then kind of like just working with them, interacting, and the whole. And the third week was pretty much the most lax week, to be honest. A lot of people had already gone home from the last phase, they call it. So there was like 4 different phases, and I was on the very last one, and it was very lax. And it was that week where I really like got to know the people I was really working with, and I think that's what I really appreciated out of the whole thing. Because you know what, the first week is like, oh, I'm just getting to know them. I'm getting to know myself. I'm getting to know their work. I'm getting to know a lot of things, but I didn't really get to know them as much as the first 2 weeks, for example, because there's other people there. We have work to do, but they also have their own lives. They have their lives back in the mainland. They have their lives in Japan. And I got to see that. And I got to relate. And so I would say I got closer to them than anybody else because they actually invited me out. There was another guy with the shipyard. He was going home as well, so I left that Friday, and there was another guy that left Friday too from the shipyard. He's going back to training, but so they invited me out, kind of like a farewell thing. Like you had beers, you went out, got something to eat, went to a couple of places, drank, and it was very. It's probably the best time I've had since I've actually been there. Cause we went to a few places and they call it the Haunch. The Haunch is where a lot of sailors go, and I avoid that place like the plague. To be honest, I avoided the place because I was like, I don't want to be like caught up with all the MPs and everything like that, walking around all that stuff. So, anyways, last night I was there. We go to the Haunch. I'm going there. I've gone there. I'm gone pretty much with the shipyard workers I was working with the whole time. It's like kind of farewell. We might see each other again sometime in the future, and just our various locations. They're based out of Washington, so there is a significant chance I might see them again. Whether I go to Seattle next time or Japan, I'm leaning more on Japan, and then Seattle again. So yeah, went to a few places, had some drinks, and again, this is the first time I've actually really drank since I've been in Japan. So I'm watching myself. I'm drinking water, but they're also buying me drinks, and of course, I really do appreciate that. That's something that I will never forget. And so I just want to give you guys. I want to give everybody a good shout out. And everybody has done a great job. We're doing a lot. They were doing a lot of hard work there. But yeah, it was very. Like I said, this was a time where I felt like I got closer to them than like anybody else, because there was a lot of other of my reservist compadres that were there, but after they left, it was just us. It was like me, one other person in our area, in our department, and then the shipyard workers. And I thought it was the coolest thing. Finally got to really meet them, as people, not just somebody I'm working with, somebody I see, but somebody that I finally get to be like, oh, I know this guy now a little bit better than just, oh, he's that guy, or he's just the guy that I'm working with, kind of thing. It's more than that, and that's one thing I do appreciate it. I do appreciate a lot more. I wanted to go over one important thing before I wrap this up, because this is actually one of the most important things for me personally, because if you don't know anything about me, one of the things that I've wanted to do since I can remember in freaking high school was go to Japan. What I would do in Japan is a totally different thing, but getting there and having finally gone there and experienced it is something that is just priceless, and it's like it's finally happened. And like I said, it's everything and more than I thought. However, one of my now acquaintances and shipyard work has really brought this to my attention, and this is actually something that I was kind of thinking about for a little bit, I guess you can call it culture shock. In some instances, it can be considered culture shock because you're like, well, this is like me getting used to something, right? Like you go to a different country and there's acclimation that has to happen, right? There's some level of getting used to something that you just have to either accept it or don't. And to be honest, one of the biggest things for me was the language. Like the language barrier was very, very like it was there. And I didn't really realize this until I went to the store and I honestly wanted to know like, you know, what does that say? You know, what is in that meal kind of thing. Like that was the big thing for me. And I was just like, you know what? It wasn't like for me, I really hated the fact that I couldn't read it. But not hate it so much from like, oh, I detest being here. Just it was more of an annoyance. Like it was like I wish I could read this. For me, that's how I felt. I wish I could have read it, but I can't. So for me, and now I know how it feels. I know how it feels like when a foreigner comes here to the United States and they don't know the language, and then they try so hard. They're trying their very best because I remember I was trying my very best to speak Japanese as much as I could possibly could. To say something that I can at least try to communicate with somebody else in the most basic form that I could possibly. And I know how that feels. So when I'm at a store and I'm looking at some product, I have no idea what it is. And it just annoyed the shit out of me. Like, I wish I could read this. But like I said, it wasn't like it wasn't like I hated it. It wasn't like I detested being there because of that fact. It was just like, I can't read this. I wish I could read it. Like my basic need of knowing what it meant wasn't there. I mean, yeah, I could pull out Google Translate, and Google Translate, I've used it a few times to communicate and to translate things, but having to like use as my crutch was annoying. The other thing that was brought to my attention by like my one of the workers there, so he actually had been there for a few months. He had me only mere weeks, but I can understand being in a foreign place for a few months and then like you're just missing home, like you get homesick. Because again, I went to Australia and I was there for almost 6 months, and so I understand like that feeling, like, you know, hey, damn, I wish I could drive. Like I wish I had a license, I could drive. You know, back home I could do that. For him, like he had a bike, so he rode a motorcycle, but he couldn't do that in Japan, and that was one of the things he missed. And I was just talking about like a few things like that where, like, it was just kind of like, for him it was more like, you know, it's so annoying, but I'm at a point where I just wish I was back home now, kind of thing. That's for him. I mean, for me, I could feel a little bit of that, but I wasn't like at that point where I'm like, yeah, I just want to go back home. I actually, like I said, I enjoyed being in Japan. I enjoyed seeing the sights, you know, again, meeting new people, helping out for the most part. And like I said, the thing that really got me was the language barrier. That was kind of like my mind frag. Like, oh damn, this is my culture shock. And then like technologically, like they're really advanced. I love so apparently there's I had to figure, but there's like one vending machine for every for every 7 people in Japan. That's roughly like millions. There's millions of vending machines, drinks, panties, beer, coffee, whatever. They got them. And for me, it's like when I think about it, I'm like, when I come back here, I was spoiled. Like I said, I was spoiled in Japan. Food was amazing. I come back, I'm like, damn, food just isn't the same. And I now know what people are talking about. Like, yeah, food is definitely better elsewhere. And not to say that, hey, nothing tops my mom's cooking. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you gotta go. If you haven't been, I highly recommend that you go. But yeah, just a few things like. But I had that feeling, like yeah, it's getting time to go home, and I already knew. The weekend ended. Got on a plane, came back, and it was bittersweet in some ways. It was like, I'm back. At the same time, I was like, I had to go back to work. I had to go back to my day job, and yeah. So it was really bittersweet to come back. However, I am planning on going back to Japan next year. Maybe even later this year. We will see how that works out. But apparently, there are DoD jobs where they teach English, and I'm looking into doing that. There's other opportunities for teaching English, just not federal as far as the U.S. goes. Just more like it's a private, or you're working directly for Japan kind of thing. And right now, to be honest, if you're looking to work in Japan, now is the time. And that's mostly because the aging population in Japan. That's a fact. You look that up, facts and figures, you'll find like there's thousands of foreigners working in Japan. Just because of that reason, I'm sure. The aging population of Japan, they need people. They need a labor force, right? If people are getting older and they don't work, then guess what? There's no service industry, so they need service, they need people, they need employees. So this is the best time. And Japan's not the only place. But right now, Japan is where I'm looking at as far as where I want to be, where I want to go. So as far as like my future intentions, I am planning to go back. And I've been putting this off. One of the reasons why I picked Japan for my annual training was because to get my feet wet. And now that my feet were wet, now I have an idea how it's going to be. Now, given the fact I was only there for 3 weeks, we're talking months, possibly years, as far as like future endeavors of what I'm planning to do, what I would like to do while I'm there. And I already know people that do it already, that have done it in different other places. And so I'm looking at that right now. I'm looking, what can I do exactly? How can I get in there to do it? That's pretty much what I'm looking at right now. So teaching English or something else. It could be something else. But for me, that's probably the easiest way I can do it with my degree, is to teach English. And And that's my first. Um, sorry, this light is bright. That's why my eyes are closed. Like this shit is so bright, dude. But that's my first like my hook. You know, that's my lead right now. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's gonna take time. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. It may not happen this year, but it's gonna happen. And I keep telling my friend it's gonna happen. So I am looking forward to the next time. I am looking forward to going to Japan again for sure. And like I said, it will happen. I was talking to I was talking to the same shipyard work. I'm not gonna say names, but despite the fact that he was homesick, he also said, because I had mentioned, I was like, I want to come back here. He said something like, he said something that will stick with me. He said, if you really want to go somewhere, you can. I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I got here, right? I went to Japan for the first time in my life. I had a great time. And yeah, I was there for work. I did the work. In my free time, I got to go out and do what I wanted to do. It doesn't really get any better than that, to be honest. And that's just a start. It's not a finish. It's just a start. It's the beginning. New beginnings. I finally got my feet wet. I finally got to visit Japan. And looking back even right now, and I don't ever want to forget this, because my cousin, one of my cousins, and the only cousin that's ever mentioned about anything Japan related to me, he's no longer here on this planet. So I remember that because anime was one of his favorite things, and as well as Japanese culture. So it wasn't like it's kind of hard to swallow sometimes. Like, he's not here anymore. I can't give him a call. I can't talk to him about, hey, my trip to Japan was awesome. I can't. But I don't want to end on like a sad note. But one, because it was like one of his things, like one of his favorite things, I can finally say that I got to go to Japan. I got to go to a place where I'm pretty sure he himself really wanted to go. And I finally made it. I finally made it for both of us. So not just for myself, but for my cousin who's no longer here. So that's for you, Joel. Anyways, just some things to remember. Have a plan. I mean, if you're gonna go, I highly recommend you go to Japan or go somewhere. If you've never been anywhere out of the country, go somewhere. Enlighten yourself to somebody else's culture, somebody else's history, and indulge yourself in the people and what they do. And so I almost forgot to mention this, but I was looking up some meetups. So part of what I was doing in regards to photo shoots, I was looking for like models to work with, right? And so right now I'm kind of like keeping in touch with some models for next time. So another thing what I failed to do until like the very last week was look for these meetup groups, like international meetup with Japanese locals that exchange, English and Japanese, like kind of back and forth kind of thing. So I didn't go. I didn't go to one this time, mostly because it was the last week, and I was kind of getting like tired. It was also cold outside. Like it wasn't exactly the warmest during that last week. It was about 40-something degrees, cold and wet. And I was like, I just want to go back to my room and just whatever. So next time I'm going to go to some meetups. I'm gonna meet some people, hopefully some locals. Who knows? Maybe I'll get married. Well, not while I'm there, but maybe I'll meet somebody and go from there. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, you never know, right? And people say, "Oh, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna get married. You're gonna fall in love with Japan." And I'm still waiting. I'm still available. So, anyways, I think that's about it. I've talked about touring my last weekend in Japan. I've talked the week, my farewells. I've talked about just some things to think about as far as like cultural awareness, acclimation, future endeavors as far as Japan. I think that's about it. If I do appreciate you coming on here, any of you followers or anybody that's watching right now, I do appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the likes. If you like what you see in here, please like and subscribe. And if you think somebody else will benefit from this, please, by all means, share this with somebody. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, whatever. But it's not just for me. It's not just a vlog. But also remember that it's also a travel guide. If you want to look at it that way, it's a travel guide of just how to get around, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for Japan. It could be for anywhere. Just remember that. So I'm gonna leave off. I'm gonna show you this last photo here, and I'm gonna leave off with that. And yeah, my next cast, like I said, I am planning on doing a podcast in regards to the photo shoot that I did with Miyu at Kasai Rinkai Park. So look out for that. I am still working on the photos, so I'm not done yet. Those won't get posted on Instagram anytime this week, perhaps next week, when I actually do finish that. So please look out for that. What else? I think that's it. This is pretty much the last video in regards to Japan. Although I might do another one, like I said, of just the photos and kind of go over more. Like, I didn't do photos the last vlog, so I'm glad I actually got a chance to do it this time and show you guys just where I've been. And you saw it here first. So like I said, a lot of those photos probably will never see a light of day on a blog, but I will try my best to put as many of them as possible on there without like flooding it. And again, you'll see it on Instagram, and I will put just my places you can find me on, like Instagram, Twitter, Flickr, 500px, my blog, my website, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. I do want to actually put out another roommates video. Yes, it's been a long time since the last time I did one, but it has finally come up. Well, I won't talk about it now, but this is something that's been in the making, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, if you have any comments or anything, feedback, suggestions, please by all means put in the comment section, and I will get back to you. If there's something you want me to talk about in regards to Japan or anything in the future, please ask the question. Let me know. I will get back to you on that as soon as possible. As far as now, though, like I said, I do appreciate watching here and supporting me. I always appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I am actually going to get off here. I'm going to eat some dinner, and I will catch you on the next cast for reals. So take it light. Cheers.